Hello, lovelies! It is the most wonderful time of the year, and today we are celebrating with 3 unbelievably delicious cupcake recipes that are actually really easy to prepare. I'm gonna kick things off with these super seasonal, nice and spicy gingerbread cupcakes. And it all starts with my classic gingerbread spice blend. The cool part is, once you've mixed all of this up, we're gonna put some in our cupcakes, but we'll have some left over and you can add it to all sorts of tasty dishes through the month of December. My personal fave is adding it to oatmeal. It makes for quite a festive breakfast, if I do say so myself. Of course, it starts with some ground ginger. It's gingerbread after all. I'm also going to be adding some cinnamon to that. Then I've got even more great spice flavor with some ground nutmeg, some allspice, and some cloves. Now, you could leave it here, but to make my gingerbread extra special with just a little bit of kick, I also add just a touch of black pepper to it. I know, it sounds a little odd, but trust me, you will not regret it. Just adds a bit more spice. I'm just going to whisk this mixture up until it's well combined, and then I'm going to take a couple tablespoons to add to my cupcakes. Now, I will fully admit that for each of the cupcakes we are going to be making today, I am using some store-bought cake mix. If you do not want to use store-bought, I definitely have some amazing cupcake recipes on the channel. I will link those below. I'm trying to keep things as simple as I can here though, and sometimes store-bought cake mix just helps with that. So I've got a vanilla cake mix here, and to that I am going to add that incredible spice blend that we just made. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of it. You could add a little more if you want to make it extra spicy. I just like to whisk that into the cake mix itself to get it nice and combined before I add the rest of my wet ingredients. Next, it's really just a matter of following package directions. This package called for a little bit of milk, some eggs, and some oil, so I'm going to get those into my bowl. I will say, if you were using boxed cake mix, if it ever calls for water, I highly recommend replacing the water with milk. It makes for a much richer cupcake, I think. And then finally, it wouldn't be gingerbread anything without some molasses. So you might not know this, but molasses is actually a quintessential flavor in classic gingerbread. So we're going to add a couple tablespoons into this mix and get it all beaten up with our hand mixer until it's nice and smooth. Then we can go ahead and use an ice cream scoop to transfer this mixture into our muffin tin that's been lined with some cupcake liners. It's really important not to overfill your cupcake liners. I always feel tempted to do it, and oftentimes what happens is that my cupcakes sort of go over the top, and that's not what we're looking for. These are not muffins. I like to ensure I'm filling them just a little over halfway. That seems to be the sweet spot. I'm going to get these into the oven and cook them according to package directions. For me, that's 325 degrees Fahrenheit for between, say, 17 and 20 minutes, or just until they're set. In the meantime, I'm gonna get to work on mixing up some amazing cinnamon-flavored buttercream for these gingerbread cupcakes. Now, if you've never made buttercream before, it's a lot easier than you might think. I'm starting with 2 sticks of room temperature butter in my bowl. Now, you'll want your butter to be at room temperature because it's going to make this a whole lot easier to blend up. I'm going to mix this up until it's nice and light and fluffy with my hand mixer. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my powdered sugar to the bowl. I'll mix that up with my butter until it's well combined. Then I'm adding a couple tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. So this is really the secret to getting incredible texture in your buttercream. It's only a couple tablespoons, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. For a little flavor, I've got some vanilla extract headed in here, as well as a good sprinkle of cinnamon. Once I've got that mixed up, I can just transfer it to my piping bag, and then as soon as those gorgeous cupcakes are completely cool, I'm going to top each of them with a little bit of this mixture, and then finish them off with an adorable little gingerbread man. What is not to love? Next, lovelies, we are celebrating one of the best chocolates of all time, Ferrero Rocher. So obviously these are around in abundance over the holidays. It just makes sense to add them to our cupcakes. So for this recipe, I'm going to be using, once again, a traditional store-bought cake mix. If you want to make your own chocolate cupcakes, totally up to you. I'm just following package directions here by adding some milk, some eggs, and some oil to the mix, and I'm going to beat that up into a batter. Once that's nice and smooth, I'm going to go ahead and transfer just a tablespoon or so of the batter into the bottom of my cupcake liner. Then I'm going to add a Ferrero Rocher chocolate right into the center, and I'm going to top it with another, say, tablespoon and a half of batter. Now for this job, I am using my cookie scoop. Make sure everything is nice and even, and these all come out perfectly. Once I've got all my cupcakes made, I'll get these into the oven, once again at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for between 17 and 20 minutes. Now, as though our Ferrero Rocher stuffed cupcakes weren't enough, I thought it was a really good idea to amp up the flavor factor even more here by making some chocolate hazelnut buttercream using Nutella. That's right, I put Ferrero Rochers in my cupcakes and Nutella in my buttercream. We're starting, once again, with our butter. Once our butter is nice and light and fluffy, we can add our sugar, a little bit of cream, a splash of vanilla extract, and then a whole heaping helping of chocolate hazelnut spread, AKA Nutella. I'm gonna mix this up until it's nice and smooth, and then as soon as those lovely cupcakes are completely cool, we can go ahead and pipe this on. For my final step, I'm going to be topping these with some slivered hazelnuts, and oh my gosh, guys, how can you not love this? And look at the center of that bad boy. You just know it is going to be delicious. Finally, lovelies, if you are hosting a slightly more adult affair, might I suggest whipping up a batch of these incredible Irish cream cupcakes. Yes, both the cupcakes and the buttercream are flavored with Bailey's Irish cream, so you just know these are going to be delicious. They start once again with my store-bought chocolate cake mix. To that, I am adding half milk, some eggs, some vegetable oil, but the other half of the milk I'm actually going to be replacing with some Bailey's Irish cream. I'm going to mix all of that yumminess up, transfer it to my muffin tin. I typically don't drink Bailey's except around the holidays. I like to have a little splash in my coffee. But I gotta tell you, turning it into a cupcake is a bit of an inspired idea, I think. And now we will just get these beauties into the oven, 325 degrees Fahrenheit, for let's say 17 to 20 minutes. As those are baking up, I'm going to be whipping up some Irish cream buttercream, or I guess it should be called Irish buttercream. Does that make sense? Because do you really need the word cream twice? Probably not. Anyways, I digress. We're starting once again with our butter and of course our powdered sugar. And we're also going to add our vanilla extract to this for flavor. Then instead of adding our heavy whipping cream to this, I am adding a couple tablespoons of Irish cream. I will just take this moment to mention again that these cupcakes are not for kids. These are definitely a grown-up cupcake. Once all that yummy buttercream has come together, you can go ahead and transfer it to your piping bag. And as soon as those Irish cream cupcakes are cooled, you can pipe it out and then top these with just a little sprinkle of cocoa powder. Not only are they oh so pretty, but they are also oh so delicious. Don't believe me? Give them a try for yourselves. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo because you guys know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations. To find the full recipes, just check out the links in the description box below. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.